We will continue now with a panel talking about the metaverse. But before we get to that, I want to let you know about some of the things that are going down here. So downstairs by the kitchen hall, there is an NFT gallery that you guys should check out. I think one of the QR codes for our contest is also hidden down there somewhere. But NFTs have played an incredibly big role in the past 12, 18 months and is obviously accelerating incredibly fast. Synonymous with NFTs is the metaverse, whatever that may be. I think we're all still learning about what the metaverse is, what it can be, how are we going to keep it open, how are we going to keep it decentralized, what is a closed and open metaverse, are there several of them, will they be interoperable? We don't really know, but we do have a panel coming up right now that's going to explore this subject and how to keep the metaverse open, decentralized, and sustainable for the future. So please put your hands together for our very first panel of the day about the metaverse.
Where's Brandon?
Hello.
Oh.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for waking up early for our cause. Hope you had a good party yesterday as well. So we're still waiting for our third panelist. So this panel is around Metaverse builders and how to build a decentralized, positive, and sustainable future of Metaverse. So we have three amazing panelists here today. And maybe while waiting for our third panelist, we can already introduce the two of them who are Elnaz Saraf, founder and CEO at Roibi and Unigalax.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also Boyan Andrijek, CTO and co-founder of the Archipelago.
Archipelago, yeah. Thank you.
So before we start, with all the questions around Metaverse, could you maybe tell our audience what are you building in the Metaverse?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. Hi, everybody, and thank you for participating. I'm Elnaz Saraf, founder and CEO of Roibi and also Unigalax. We started our company, Roibi, about 3 years ago. We built an AI-powered educational robot for children, which got featured 2 times on the cover of Time magazine as one of the best inventions in education. We also won the World Economic Forum Smart Toy Award. Now the product has launched into major retail stores and online in North America. And with all that experience in education and technology, about 2 years ago, we've decided that we want to build another platform more towards SaaS. And as we've been doing a lot of research, we realized that there's a huge potential in blockchain technology and Web3. That's why we decided to bring edutainment into Metaverse, and Unigalax was born, which is the Metaverse for everything edutainment.
Precisely. Like before, we have this different industry, gaming, education, and the other different niche. Now the Metaverse thing is actually combining all different business model and sectors, right?
Yes.
So how about you, Boyan?
Yeah, my name is Boyan Andrijek, and I'm the CTO and co-founder of the Archipelago. We're building an open world metaverse, which has GameFi components in it. We're building on Solana. And we are trying to differentiate ourselves by being realistic and having the by being realistic and trying to avoid that voxel-based graphics. And our business model includes a lot of implementation of in real-life components like brands and companies. And also we are trying to touch the gaming industry as well, because We are building something that Sandbox did, but not in a voxel style, in realistic thing. We have the game maker as well. So that's just the base of it, and we can talk later more about it.
For sure. It's about combination of real life and metaverse, right? It's not like only virtual world and virtual experience.
Yeah, and I need to mention that we are one of the rare luxury-based metaverses in the space. I can say that on Solana we are the only one at this point, but I saw some trend moving from like Ethereum things are becoming more luxurious than others.
We're going to come back to the which chain question later. So, hey, Brendan, happy that you joined us finally.
Thank you.
So,
this is working now as well. Sorry about it, guys.
Cool. So, Brendan Smith is the co-founder and CPO at Ethereum Worlds. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, definitely. So Ethereum Worlds is our own Metaverse protocol. Interesting enough, we launched the concept in September last year on the Ethereum blockchain. We'll get back to the question, of course. And the concept really was about, again, similar to bridging more real-world experiences. So Ethereum Worlds Metaverse, the Genesis residence of the Ethereum Towers. The concept's really simple. It's two towers in this kind of utopian environment that it plays on two paradigms. We've got kind of residential areas, which are tokenized apartment spaces, which can be utilized by communities, individuals, organizations, various different social interactions, potentially entertainment interactions, potentially commerce. And then also in the base of the towers, we're looking at how we can connect, again, brands, other individuals, other partners as well, essentially to our protocol and to our users. A big part of it for us was about trying to build something that could really drive non-crypto native user adoption. And a big part of that was about appealing to, I suppose, the normie in that respect. So we really come from a non-gamified approach. We come from more of a proportional, realistic style. Interesting enough as well, we're developing VR first. So I know the speaker last time talked about it, but we're really banking on the adoption of Oculus. We do have a web browser application as well, but for that immersiveness, because we're building on social interactions, VR was essentially like a key component of that entire experience. So yeah, that gives you, I suppose, a bit of an introduction to what we're bringing to the table.
Sure. So all the metaverse builders are kind of facing at first stage a question around, okay, where should I build my metaverse, right? It's about scalability. It's also about decentralization. So what choice did you make and how did you make it? And what is the future? Is it like cross-chain? And what's the roadmap? That's a lot of questions.
Sure. So for us, we actually decided to go with Solana. Originally, we wanted to create a platform on Ethereum, but after doing a lot of research, we realized that there are going to be a lot of microtransactions within the metaverse. And ultimately, if we wanted to build it on Ethereum, really wouldn't be sustainable for the future. So we decided to go with Solana. You know, we went through a lot of different platforms, but ultimately we saw huge potential in terms of like the transaction fees, being able to really scale it. The metaverse would be really faster if we go with Solana, but also they were one of those teams that they would give us a lot of support. And I think in the beginning when you are building your platform, your metaverse, the support that you can get from the protocols is really, really important. And I think that was one of the #1 reason for us to go with Solana. And then, of course, obviously, we are going to be cross-chain. Gradually, we'll be opening different bridges, to different platforms, and that's going to take a little bit longer, I would say, within the next 2 years as part of our roadmap plan.
Okay, so basically we also started on Solana, but that was not the very first choice we had. When we started developing, we also considered Ethereum as the biggest one. But then when we laid down all the features we need, we realized that we need something that is much more faster and something that will allow microtransactions, as you said. And that's why we moved to Solana. But that was not the only reason why we did it. And when we started building this project, I met a lot of people from the Solana community, and I immersed myself into this community and realized that this is a good thing to go. And it will grow in the future, definitely. And we saw a big void on the market, in Solana particularly, and we wanted to fill it, to make the first metaverse that will really have it all, let's say that way, because a lot of current projects, even though they are really doing good so far, they are just giving a glimpse of what this future might look. And besides that, yeah, cross-chain, definitely, because that is in our roadmap. We want to go cross-chain as early as possible, so probably we will be launching something on Ethereum in like 6 to 8 months as well. Some part of the collection will be there, and already from the very beginning when we launch this, you will be able to implement NFTs from different chains. Depending on our partners, we have some partners that are doing, all the infrastructure on the chain. You will be able to list your NFTs through our marketplace as well. You will be able to put NFTs in your galleries, in the virtual spaces. So we can say that we are cross-chain, but our main collection is currently on Solana because of the throughput and all the other things like fees and speed.
Yeah, cool. So it seems like I'm the only Ethereum project up here. Yeah, so I think it's quite interesting really when it's almost like there's a part of commercial decision in there and when you launch as well. Back when we was conceptualizing and launching, Ethereum was a great chain to go with because it was a great route to market. As a startup, as a Web3 startup, you're thinking about how you can essentially expedite user acquisition. And back at that time, the Ethereum market, especially for tokenized NFTs, that's where it was. That's where the transactions were happening. So especially depending on your funding, et cetera, we bootstrapped our project for the first 6 months before taking private investment. Ethereum really was where the high transaction, high volume was going. But it's not to say there's no cross-chain opportunities because, like the two great panelists here have said, Ethereum has obviously got huge bottlenecks, and even as a project founder, as a team, we can't bet on the merge and the merge to proof of stake. So we look at it EVM compatible chains for the smaller transactions. And I think you both mentioned something really interesting there about the Solana team being there to support you. We found that with the Polygon team, Polygon Studios team, they offered a lot of support early on to essentially help us build the economy, build our chain and how it looks like, and really have Ethereum as the base layer for our main assets, but having Polygon sit there for the faster transaction speeds. But I definitely think it depends. I mean, on a personal level, I think there's so many really innovative chains that are coming up. Like I'm personally a massive fan of the NEAR protocol, the layer zero. We all have our own, I suppose, expectations of these things, but I think there's maybe some politics at play into it because there's commercial decisions, there's also what's best for the user, there's also the time that you're launching as well. So I'd like to say we could be multiple chains in the future, but for us at Ethereum Towers, we're very much talking about Ethereum being the base and Polygon being really the in-world ecosystem transaction for those speed like Solana.
Yeah, so it's really some key learnings for different protocols, right? It's about the fee, it's about the community and scalability, and it's also about the support they can give to the entrepreneurs in the metaverse and gaming in general, right? So now a lot of different projects, including gaming and metaverse, are facing a decentralization dilemma, let's say. They want to decentralize since the very beginning, but maybe like when you are building, really you have to go fast. You have to have some centralized power. So how do you structure your team or your project to make it essentially decentralized, but also like going very fast? Maybe anybody can take this first.
I can take this on if it's... Basically, I do believe that we're a long way ahead to the decentralization, and that we are still, there is no real decentralized metaverse at this moment. Every single one is basically owned by a company, every single one is run by a company somehow. Let's say that Decentraland is maybe the most decentralized thing, but it's still a lot centralized, I do believe that we will need to work on the technology, that we will need to work on, some protocols, how we can do it, but definitely decentralization as democracy on its own, let's say, is a slow thing. You can't really you can't really move fast, as you said. And I do believe that for us to achieve some kind of a decentralization, we will need to build it centralized first and find a balance between that centralized component and decentralized. And then we will need to combine ourselves. The entire industry will need to work together on this. And really, by doing that, we will become more decentralized. That's my opinion. And I do believe that the metaverse itself is not going to be anything in the future if we don't solve these things early on. And I do believe that we need to, because some people are, maybe I will divert a little bit from your original question, but a lot of people are talking about like, you are my competition, this is the competition of this metaverse. It's just not like that, you know, it's not a zero-sum game. If we want to achieve something that is like a Ready Player One thing from a sci-fi movie, we will need to work together. And we need to make that interoperability between metaverses. Like, for example, in the internet, the original internet, when DARPA made it, it didn't have any sense until Tim Berners-Lee from CERN made the World Wide Web. That's a protocol that made it work together, and the websites started communicating. That's what we are missing right now. Blockchain technology is offering it already, but I do believe we have a long way forward before we truly make this happen.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want to go?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with all your points. And I also think, it's not necessarily like a technology limitation. I think it's a matter of time to gradually get to a point that you can mostly decentralize your platform, but also it really depends on the community collaboration. Based on what I can see right now, the community is a little bit small. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of education, especially for new audience. Based on my experience being in education and entertainment, that audience is not really necessarily familiar with the whole metaverse platform, decentralization, and creating this DAO community that could be governed by the people. And I think it's more about going out there, talking about it, and then gradually scale the community and the capabilities of the platform to get gradually, step by step, towards decentralization as well.
Yeah. No, I think they're all both great points. Maybe I have a little bit of a different view in terms of how polarized or how not polarized it is. I think with Ethereum Towers, what we look at doing, because I think we take a step back and think about our target audience, and like I said earlier, about the user adoption of non-crypto native, i.e., if I want my mum to come in Ethereum Towers, how frictionless or how much friction is that experience? And I think it's down to project founders and teams to, like you said, not only educate, which is something we do a lot at Ethereum Towers, but not only that, but try to find a balance and then gradually get onto, gradually move towards decentralization. But there's also another element as well, and again, I'll go back to the commercial element. We talk about integrating brands and traditional organizations, Web2 teams, whatever it is, in the metaverse. And when you have a bit more of a centralized entity that can offer more of a tailored onboarding for that brand, it becomes less risky for them as well. So there's definitely positives for retaining some centralization. And again, it's an education perspective. I can't imagine my mum trying to set up a MetaMask wallet, let alone do multiple other things. Governing a DAO, she would have no idea at all. So I think, like I said, education aspect, but I do think there are some powerful elements of retaining some centralization to a degree. Especially to begin with, for sure.
May I just add one thing? I'm sorry. Basically, every time you have a decentralization, you go from centralized to decentralized, and then the power groups up, Even in decentralized systems, you will have power players, and then still the very human nature is to try to grab the power and try to be centralized somehow. And we see that through the history in different things. So basically, I don't think we will have a different story here as well, And big companies will kick in at some point, and they will try to seize this power, even through decentralized thing. And I do believe that it will be even easier for them at some moment if we are like fully decentralized than if you have a centralized power, so you can control the narrative a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
agreed.
it needs to also be sustainable, in my opinion, to get to a point that a platform is fully decentralized. We need to think about many different aspects. For example, if the economy of the platform is sustainable, the tokenomics is really important. How do you incentivize people to collaborate together? Because, if it is being managed and governed by different people and the community, you have to give them motivation to build. Otherwise, this platform is just going to sit there and nobody's going to do anything. And then the people that they don't really do anything on the platform, what to do with that? So there are many different aspects, as everybody mentioned, technology, education, incentives, rewards, and also the economy of the platform to make it more sustainable for many, many years to come. Those are really important parts.
Yeah, as you mentioned, right? So it's all about how to engage your community, a different kind of profile, right? In all of your projects, you have this creator economy element, and also you have this social interaction elements. So maybe concretely, we can enter more into the details of how you build your project to say, okay, how to incentivize at the same time the creators and the brands and the gamers, or let's say the audience you have. So specifically, maybe some key learning and lessons for metaverse entrepreneurs.
Do you want to take it?
Who will take?
Sure.
Ladies first.
So, well, at least on our platform, how it works is we work with the creators, educators, and institutions to convert their Web2 content into Web3 and NFT assets. We work with them on a one-by-one, type of model to make sure we can easily transfer their asset into our platform. And based on the tokenomics and the features that we are building, they can actually earn at least 3 to 5 new revenue streams, which is really exciting for them. They can bring their audience and implement it into our platform. But also at the same time, it's not just about educators and institutions, it's also about the students that learn on the platform. Based on our research, we've seen that the completion rate of online material is about 15%, which is really low. And we really need to think about what are the ways we can motivate the students and people to continue learning and incentivize them based on their progress. I think the rewarding system is exciting, but we also need to think about the long-term plan. It's not just giving people tokens and NFTs. We also need to create some engagement within the community, whether it be contests or even give some grants, in our case, to schools to bring people to make them excited to create programs and features on the platform. But I think as we are moving forward, we are also learning a lot, what other types of engagement features and programs we can have for our audience.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you touched on a really good point there. There's so much innovation in terms of incentivizing different engagement. So we obviously all know about play to earn and how the meteoric rise of that over the last year or two. But we're starting to see these new, initiatives happen. We've got almost learn to earn. One thing we're also doing at Ethereum Tower is we're going for the engage to earn. I mean, the fundamentals of our protocol is around social interaction, right? It's around being a part of this meta society. And we have an incentive mechanism behind that. But it's really, really important that it is sustainable because we've seen so many protocols and so many projects and brands that have created the ecosystems that have over-incentivized and almost desensitized their users to that as well, and it's not become sustainable. So I think it's really important in that respect. And it's a very difficult task, and that is a continual task to balance the economy as well, to balance that and make sure that, because also you have different social profiles. For us, we have brands, we have Web2 brands. They don't care about the same things our apartment holders care about. They don't care about the same things that some of our advertisers care about. And it's about building the social profiles and making sure that all kind of works together. But I think we're going to see a lot of innovation over the next few years. There is so many as well. Somebody was telling me about the running, the incentivizing to running and stuff like that, and then you've got the education element. And I think it's definitely a fine balance. But yeah.
Okay, so basically, this is a good question that you asked. It's about, we need to find out what people really want and what they really need for this. And I do believe that many crypto and metaverse or crypto gaming projects, they figured it out wrong, because P2E, play to earn thing people expect you will pay somebody to play a game, and they will stay there. But it's not about the money. The Maslow pyramid says that they get it out wrong. So for example, we have like 4 target groups, and we are talking to them in different ways. We have gaming community, we have investors, we have creators, that's a creators economy, and we have businesses, real life components. So for example, the gaming industry this year is $172 billion market, and there is no single project in crypto space, in crypto gaming, that touched that money in any way, because they got it wrong. It's not about paying people to earn. People play games to unwind, to socialize, to have a pleasant thing. It's about the experience, about the interaction, and most of the projects are lacking in this department. It's like just go take your neon cat, jump it around, you get some kind of Ethereum or whatever. It's not going to work, and that's why most of the projects are failing, because that's not sustainable. They think that people are coming for one reason, which is not true, and that's why we are trying to build our gaming experience in the right way. People says we are a GTA mid-Sims thing, our platform, which is cool. I like that comparison, because GTA is the game of a decade, maybe even this century, if somebody doesn't invent something better. But the thing is that I do believe that through our game maker and through our native gaming experiences, we can capture some point of that $172 billion industry. Even like 0.0001 would be good. Then for the creators, I do believe that you need to give people what they are going to do there, and how they are going to live their digital lives. And for us, it's about a creators economy. We want to build a real economy on top of the metaverse, because I do believe that the metaverse economy will be a thing in the future when we combine all the forces together. And at this moment, we are inviting all the creators to come in and create, and we are making the tools for them so they can create games, they can create assets, they can NFTize them pretty easily and sell them through our marketplace as well. And I do believe that those are the components, plus in real life things, so we can talk about it later.
To add to that, I think when people want to innovate in this space, you really need to think about, are you solving a problem? That's really important, because this concept of play to earn is exciting, but maybe in the beginning. And in order to really have a strong platform, strong metaverse, it is really important to think about what type of problem you are solving for your audience, because that is going to really help your project to grow over the next few years.
Just a second thing there, everybody who solved some problem are on the Forbes list now. It's about that. If you're bringing value, you will be successful. If you're trying to make a gimmick, it's not going to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have 1 or 2 questions before maybe answering some questions from the audience. So prepare your question if you have one. So as you mentioned, it's not only about tokenomics. It's not play to earn. Metaverse is a whole stack of different technology, and you have to provide the best experience, right? So concretely, how do you structure your team? What kind of profile would you look for in your project to build like the whole Metaverse technology stack, and so that this can inspire maybe the other Metaverse creators?
Who's going to go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure, no. So I think mainly we talk about the stack of stuff. I think it all depends on the goal you're trying to achieve. Again, with this Ethereum Towers, we're really trying to build the immersion. So a lot of our I suppose technical capabilities and requirements were all around the immersive VR first development, which opens a whole new kind of bucket of issues, but also opportunities, especially with blockchain integration as well. So for us, it was really about partnering with projects, bringing people in that had the experience to build on these platforms immersivity. So again, the front-end solutions for us, with it being VR, we chose to go down the Oculus route purely because of user adoption, because we feel like we're hedging our bets on that market. But also outside of that, outside of the actual technology stack of the front-end side of things, behind the whole ecosystem, because of the VR headsets, etc., we've got we've got a bunch of different systems and profiles that are working with blockchain now because all this stuff doesn't speak together. So we talked on the tokenomics element side of things, and that is, I mean, for a metaverse protocol, especially because it is still such a new space, it can be quite a daunting task to continually design these tokenomics and incentives, etc. So I think a big part of it for us was partnering with game economist teams, partnering with development teams that had that experience that could bring that in-house for us as well. And we're still, for us, it is early. We are still learning every week, and there's so many new innovations and stuff that we're trying to catapult ourselves on top of. But it is, I suppose it is solving those core fundamental problems that we're seeing by going down the VR route, I think.
I do personally think that you can use a lot of things that are already out there. You don't need to build yourself everything. And I do believe that you should focus on that interaction and on the community itself, because the community is a key. Without a community, there is no metaverse, because it's not about anything else than interaction, in the long run, because we want people to live there, to live their digital lives, and we want that future of Ready Player One without that. Without that economic thing that everything is ruined, like some kind of utopia would be fine. But what I think about the team, definitely you need developers. Definitely you need, depending on the technology that you're building on. For example, we're building on Unreal Engine 5, the very game it is built on Unreal Engine 5. So that's where we start with developers for that. And besides that, I do believe you need a lot of strategists inside of the team. You need a lot of people, you need psychologists as well to dive deep into the human mind and really think see what's driving people, because that's how the big companies do it. That they figure out what we want and they give it to us, or even better, like Steve Jobs said, he thinks what you will think and then he gives it to you before you even know you need it. And in the end, you find out that you really needed it. But about the team, about the people, it's like a big collage of everything, depending, because basically we are building a parallel world in a digital space. So you would need from architects to designers to psychologists to marketing guys. So that's the road forward. And about the technology, my advice: use whatever is out there. Don't try to make it on your own if there is no a specific need for that to improve on top of that.
Yeah, definitely I agree to all your points. It's such a new technology and platform that it's really hard to know what's going to happen 5 to 10 years down the road. So for us, for our technology at least, we've been constantly looking to find influencers, educators, that they can actually bring their content to our platform, and with a large audience, they could actually help us build the audience around it. And as you all mentioned, you really don't need to build everything from scratch. But one of our challenges has been finding the right developers, because again, it's such a new space, such a new technology. Not everybody has the skills, and the ones that they do, they already are working on some interesting projects, to convince them to come to our platform. Sometimes it's challenging, but as long as you're adding value, you could find the right team members. We are looking for game developers, we are also working on Unity. But definitely large focus is going to be on the community building, advertisement, marketing, creating content. And I think that part is going to grow aside from just the development side of it. But I think in the next 3 to 5 years, so much is going to change.
For sure. Talking about the next 5 to 10 or even more years, maybe we are talking about the future, right? How to build a sustainable future of metaverse. Now, when people talk about metaverse, they think about virtual land, they think about celebrities, they think about NFT, or they think about, general public will think about a VR headset and an isolation of individuals, right? So how can we build a metaverse that has a mission, and then how do you, maybe from your different projects, contribute to this sustainable mission of metaverse?
Yeah, I think all three of us sat up here have probably got different focal points, different, I suppose, I wouldn't say ideologies, but definitely different focuses. You've got education there, you've got engagement, entertainment, you've got human interaction, social experiences. We probably cross over on a lot of those. I think, traditionally, even outside of just a normal emerging technology sector, outside of the blockchain, we have to appreciate how infant it is and that we need to take it step by step. So when we look at that question terrifies me, what was 5, 10 years? It's a bit like the wine press thing before. It's such a difficult question, so we have to think about how we can innovate here and now. I mean, personally, again, we'll all have our own opinions on this, but we are really, really driving the non-crypto native. Like we believe the adoption needs to come from outside of this ecosystem that we're in, and that's how I think it becomes sustainable. Again, how do I get my mum who lives across the Atlantic to engage and use these platforms? How can I get her to keep coming back to that? What's the use case for her? And I think there's probably still a lot of innovation and a lot of teething points to achieve that personally. So I think again, creating less friction and targeting the less crypto native audiences, that's how we continue the adoption.
Yes, absolutely. When I think about metaverse, first of all, in the next 5 to 10 years, I think there are going to be a lot of different metaverse platforms. And when I look at them, I feel like each one is going to be like a different country. And just like any country, you need to have a growing economy. You need to make sure to attract people to your country. And then ultimately, I think all these different metaverse platforms are going to gradually collaborate with each other. And that's a really, really great point of Web3 and blockchain. As you also mentioned, bringing another type of audience to this platform is really important. Right now, I think majority of people that they are on the Metaverse platform, they're somehow involved in the crypto space, but there is a huge opportunity outside of that. And in order to bring those people in, first of all, we really need to create a simple platform. I think right now things are a little bit complicated on the Metaverse platform, so we need to make it really simple. And we also need to spend a lot of time on educating people, and that could take some time. But I see a huge potential, and again, different metaverse platforms, like different countries, people are going to go to visit different platforms somewhere in another part of the world, and then all these VR headsets or even PC games, they will all be pretty much almost one platform. It's just a matter of having a bridge between them and some sort of collaboration in the next 5 to 10 years.
So the future is like interoperable multiverse
Yes,
instead of like one single platform.
Definitely like that. I agree with all the points you made. I do believe that the first thing we need for anything to be sustainable is to have like sustainability in the terms of financials. You need to have that creator economy. You need to have people who really want to be there and create something. And that way, it solves two problems. First is obviously some incentive that will be like a money thing. But then the second thing that it solves, that creator economy solves, is it's helping you to build it much faster, much better with different mindsets. And that's one of the things. Then interoperability definitely is a thing because we need that World Wide Web thing. We need that you go to our metaverse and then there is a door to hers metaverse and to Brandon's metaverse as well. And all of that works together. And that's technology, basically. You need to develop a lot of technology. And then besides that, I do believe that you need to have those real-life components. Like, for example, in our metaverse, you will have a marketplace. First layer of it is buying everything that is inside of the metaverse. Second layer is buying everything on NFTs and everything that's on crypto and on blockchain. And the third layer is that real-life component. Basically, you can be in a game, you can play, you can do whatever you want. You can, socialize and order a pizza to your door, through the metaverse. That's a thing, that we will have in the future. And that's like talking about frictionless, access to this. So I know you're doing a VR thing, but I do believe that it's not only about VR or Windows or Mac or whatever. Yeah. We will need to combine all that together so you can frictionlessly join your metaverse thing from wherever you are. And I do believe that it will start to overlap with the reality as well in the future. So we are talking about the AR as well. We will see how it will look and what we will build in the future. I'm pretty optimistic about it, but It's like 5 to 10 years is a really long time, and for now it's a niche, and we need to educate people and go to something that will be a mainstream. But that's just how it is. Every single technology that is now successful was a niche at one point. People were working on that. This kind of summits or conferences were organized, and we together built it. For Web 1, Web 2, now Web 3.
I also think, when we talk about where we are now, and I suppose, I don't know if anybody reads newspapers, but the reason why, well, in the UK, some people read the Financial Times, and some people read the Daily Mail, and some people read a different newspaper because there's different tastes and different opinions. And I think these Metaverse is just another platform to deliver a particular content. So I think, especially in the short term, and it really is going to be interesting to see how these merge together, and if they can merge together as well. Because we talk about the multiverse, but exactly how does that look like, nobody's really sure. But in terms of where we are now, there is a metaverse for different tastes, and that's absolutely okay in my opinion. I think a certain person might be attracted, resonate with a particular environment and metaverse versus somebody else, and I think that's absolutely okay. I think we've obviously got, like I said, non-crypto native people like my mum, I say again, but again, maybe I've got a cousin who is more of a gamer, maybe he's less, he resonates less with the same kind of platform. And I suppose it's really just another way of consuming content that we've always have done, and that usually has variation and different opinions and different tastes. And I think that's absolutely fine. I think that's just where we are at the moment, and that also will drive the innovation. So I'm going to be really interested to see how that orders kind of connect. But for now, I do think there is still going to be silo operations in that respect.
And one more thing I want to add. Basically, what I like about this industry is that all of us are pioneers here, and nobody really knows what's right and what's wrong, and that's the beauty of it. You get to be creative, you get to try different things and different concepts, and then the community will decide what will stick, what will stay, and that way, this early, you can basically create history. Any single one of us in this room can create some sort of history in Web3 because it's just like baby steps at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we don't have enough time for audience questions. Feel free to interact with the panelists afterwards. So maybe one final quick roadmap wrap up. What's there to see for your project this year? What's on the roadmap this year? Spoiler alert.
Well, I'm excited because we are just starting our project, and it's going to be absolutely amazing as we are closing our fundraising and then bringing on board more people. And of course, we have open positions. We also have a stand, so feel free to come and talk with us about that. This year, we are going to gradually release our token and work on NFTs. So please do join our community because our MVP is going to be launched. We are working with some amazing partners and influencers to bring them on board. So if anybody wants to be involved within the edutainment space, please do come and talk with us. And that's very, very exciting for us because we see a huge potential over the next few years. But this year, there's going to be a lot of work in building the MVP and then gradually launching the Metaverse towards the next year.
Our roadmap this year, we already have a working demo. We wanted to release it, but our advisors were against it, so we are going to go into the mint first and then release it. And by the end of this year, we are planning a full beta app, and after that, we want to move from Windows to VR and to consoles and mobile phones as well. That is the next thing. And we will launch our token as well somewhere until, let's say September or something like that. That's what we have been working on.
Yeah, cool. All right, so we've been obviously working on this since September, so maybe we've got a bit of a shorter timeline. We're looking to get our first viable product out on the market by the end of September this year, if not the start of October. We've just closed our private fundraising round for our token, and we're launching our token tentatively on the 28th of June, depending on what happens with the crypto market, but at the end of June, basically. And in between those two kind of major milestones, it'll be the kind of marketplace launches, closed beta feedback cycles, implementing of governance, just I suppose, keep plugging away and grinding. That's pretty much what we've been doing for 8 months, and we'll continue to do it. So yeah.
Nice, very fast-paced roadmap for this year. I suppose you guys will be very busy this year. And the metaverse hustlers, builders, let's go, right, to build the future. So also, spoiler alert for Metaverse Summit in July 16th to the 17th in Paris. There will be more talks and people and, and also expert investors around Metaverse. So stay tuned and join us in Paris as well. Yeah.
See you there.
Thank you, all the
Thank
panelists.
you.
Thank you, everybody.